in, we'll ask Dr. Farmer to lead us in the pledge and then remain standing for a moment of silence. All right, we're going to go into our recognitions and good news. We'll ask Miss Bell if she would conduct that for us.
I'm going to do it.
Oh, Robin has
Okay.
it.
Miss
Okay.
Dr. Decker, please come forward. Congratulations to FSD Associate Director of Schools for Teaching and Learning, Dr. Mary Decker, who received a Tech and Learning Innovative Leader Award during the organization's regional summit in Orlando, Florida. Congratulations. Dr. Decker was nominated for her leadership in developing and implementing Franklin Special District's Introduction to Aerospace course, the only high school credit aerospace course in Tennessee offered to 8th grade students, which we're very proud of. The Tech and Learning Innovative Leader Awards recognize administrators who are advancing innovation through future-ready instruction, emerging technologies, sustainable systems, strategic partnerships, and expanded opportunities for students. Dr. Decker's recognition reflects her commitment to connecting classroom instruction with real-world careers and preparing students for an evolving workforce. The board extends its appreciation for her vision, leadership, and service to the FSD students and families. Thank you.
That it? All right. Thank you, Dr. Decker. We appreciate you representing us. Public input. There's a podium to my right. Is there anyone here for public input? Seeing no one, we declare that public input is closed. All right. Reports, presentations. Dr. Decker.
Yes, sir. Thank you. This evening, the Teaching and Learning Spotlight shines on the 2026 Leadership Retreat. From June 10th through 12th, the FSD leadership team convened for its annual time of reflection, preparation, learning, and professional collaboration and growth. Ultimately, the goal of this event is to further the expertise and effective teamwork of FSD leaders so they can provide optimal support to every employee in the district, leading to the best possible learning environment and outcomes for our students. Day one saw the full leadership team gather for a series of sessions facilitated by members of TNL and FNA. Topics included results coaching, employee relations, timely intervention and remediation for students, reading and math fluency, instruction and student persistence, team building, and recognition of retiring district nurse Amy Fisher. On day two, Dr. Eric Twardell of Solution Tree and the superintendent of Adlai Stevenson High School District 125 in Lincolnshire, Illinois, led an intense, highly interactive session with school and district administrators that was fine-tuned for the FSD's current state pertaining to the PLC at work approach and moving forward. The third and final day of the retreat included another spirited team building activity that reinforced this goal-minded team's emphasis on listening, paying attention to the details, and being there for each other while we complete a project to the best of our abilities. We closed by filming a little performance that you might just see on August 3rd. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Any questions? All right. Thank you. All right. Approval of board agenda. We have a motion.
Motion to approve the board agenda.
All right. All in favor?
I'll second.
Mr. Townsend, all in favor? We are approved. Thank you. Approval of the consent agenda. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
All right. Is there a second?
A second.
All in favor? Thank you. All right. Business before the board. Dr. Snowden.
Yes, thank you. First item is a consideration of a 2026-2027 FSD budget. The final general purpose and debt service budget documents, including a summary and complete revenues and expenditures, have been provided to you for review. During the work session, much was accomplished through great questions and discussion by the board members. We're extremely appreciative of your diligence during this budgetary process. I would also like to recognize, the work done by Dr. Esslinger, the finance personnel, and the school and district administrators and supervisors during this process. The proposed budget provides a 2% cost of living increase in addition to the step increase for all FSD employees, continuation of the driver retention and recruitment program, and continuing to pay 100% of the employee-only health coverage and 65% of the health coverage costs for other family members anchored in the standard PPO tier, as well as other considerations into the final numbers. Through the process, we presented and discussed budgets for federal capital projects, food and culinary services, and MAC. A property tax increase for FSD residents of 0.18 cents or 18 cents from the prior year. 0.5873 to increase the general purpose fund is requested. We recommend approval of all the budgets presented during the budgetary process.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion to approve? Mr. Townsend, is there a second? Ms. Newman, is there a discussion? Seeing none.
I'm going to just say thanks for allowing us to ask all of our questions. And I know I usually ask quite a few. I do take it very seriously, the budget process. One of the biggest things we do for our district and for the people who elect us. So thank you for taking us through it so thoroughly and everybody's work on it. It's always challenging to make ends meet, especially with the just the way things are now. But I appreciate the effort put into it and the willingness to let us ask hard questions and really look at things in a challenging way. So thank you.
All right. Thank you for your questions. Any other comments at this time? If not, we'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Townsend.
Yes.
Mr. Blair, yes. Ms. Bell.
Yes.
Ms. Newman.
Yes.
We are approved. Thank you. Dr.
Thank
Snowden.
you. Thank you. Item number 2 is the 26-27 FSD tax rate. With the approval of the 26-27 budgets, a tax rate needs to be set for both the general purpose and debt service budgets. The tax rate to fund the proposed budgets is 0.6123 cents for the general purpose and 0.1550 cents for the debt service, for a total of 0.7673. We recommend approval of the 26-27 FSD tax rate as presented.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the tax rate.
Ms. Bell, is there a second? Mr. Townsend, is there a discussion? Seeing none, it's a roll call vote. Mr. Townsend?
Yes.
Mr. Blair, yes. Ms. Bell?
Yes.
Ms. Newman?
Yes.
We are approved. Thank you. Dr. Snowden?
Item number 3 is an amended 26-27 Director of School Performance Goals. A continuance in the section Effective Management of District Resources, which involves playground equipment, is requested to be added, which was not incorporated into the first approval of the performance goals. The entire objective in 2.G reads, encourage FSD community engagement and support the City of Franklin Parks and Recs walkability and facility sharing efforts by ensuring after-school hours availability and accessibility for all FSD residents to the external playground and open field space at each school location. This will require making funds available in the budget for clear signage outlining rules such as no pets, and for proper surveillance cameras with appropriate signage noting that vandalism will result in prosecution. This item adds, and we didn't have this in the first edition of this, since school playground equipment is primarily funded by PTO fundraisers, the board agrees to pay for the replacement of any vandalized equipment when restitution is not received from the prosecution process. We recommend approval of this update.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Mr. Townsend, is there a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Bell, is there a discussion?
I had a question. I think it's a laborious point to add, but I'm wondering if we need to include the City of Franklin Parks and Rec in this goal, as they are not engaged in maintaining or taking care of any of our playgrounds. So I don't want to pick apart the goal because I know we don't want to rework it over and over again, but I'm surprised that's in there since they're not involved in any of that. Is there a reason we had that in there when you guys wrote this goal?
I don't recall.
I don't know if it makes a difference in your thought process, Dr. Snowden. It's your performance review, but it just feels like that's. I mean, are we required to support the City of Franklin's walkability and facility sharing efforts?
You know,
I mean, I guess we are because it's
yeah,
our constituents.
we're partners with them, and I think usually any type of initiative they have related to children and families enjoying recreational activities, whether it be for their parks or our external facilities, I think is a good thing. I don't
You
see
don't
it as a
mind it, okay.
negative. I don't think people take that as they're helping to pay for it. And again, not too many people go and look at director of schools performance goals, probably.
Correct.
But
Yeah.
I don't think it
You're fine with
negates
it being in
anything.
there.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm good with it.
But I had a question about, for example, if someone outside of our facility used our ball fields on a weekend just for fun and they vandalized them, would we be responsible for that, or would the City of Franklin, since they use them as well?
The two fields, I'd have to go back and look at. You remember what the liability, what we have on that? I think it would be under our liability.
Mm-hmm.
For
The ones behind Freedom Middle.
Yeah, baseball, softball complex. Yeah. But we have insurance for.
Things like that. Okay.
Yeah, with a deductible. Always with a deductible.
Are we concerned that our facilities are going to have vandalism?
No, but the one campus where we did lock the playgrounds after hours, and we locked it because there had been some vandalism, and they had allowed pets there without cleaning up for their pets, and then you got the next day, you got children going out to play, and they're stepping in stuff that's not shouldn't be there, and other things. But so we think we hope that signage and prosecution when someone,
Okay.
if someone vandalizes, will get the word out that, look, we're doing this, and we talked to neighbors, and we said, we're trying to do this. We're trying to keep it open so that all the families can enjoy this, but we also have a responsibility to our families, our students, when they come to school the next day, to be able to safely play on this playground. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
All right, thank you. Have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Just a little bit. I want to say, Dr. Snowden, thanks for bringing this back up. We'd initially had some of that verbiage in there. How I missed that it did not remain last time, I don't know, but I'm glad we got it put back in.
Thank you.
All right, motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, let's roll call vote this one also. Mr. Townsend?
Yes.
Mr. Blair, yes. Ms. Bell?
Yes.
Ms. Newman?
Yes.
We are approved. Thank you. Dr. Snowden?
Okay, as you noted in your board packet, there are quite a few policies. I don't think I said this earlier. I know we talked about the legislative process and the legislative session, but there were a total of 150 bills filed related to education. Thankfully, well, I guess in some cases, thankfully some didn't pass, but there were some that we were supporting that didn't pass. But anyway, the result of all of that during the legislative process is a lot of policies. These first few are on second reading, and we'll go through those. And then on the others, quite frankly, I'm going to recommend adopting on first, waiving second for most of them because it is law, and school will be underway before our next meeting in August. So that's the primary reason. Some I will ask just to approve for first reading just because of the nature of it, and it's something that's not urgent. So if you'll indulge me in that as we go forward. Item number 4 is a policy revision, alcohol and drugs in the workplace, 1.804. This is a second reading. Revisions to this policy contain a provision on examinations based on reasonable suspicion and follows the TSBA model policy language. Excuse me. The title of this policy changes from alcohol and drug-free workplace to more accurately describe the contents. There were no changes requested by the board upon the first reading. We recommend approval of the second reading.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Ms. Bell, is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Townsell, is there a discussion? All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 5, policy revision, drug and alcohol testing for employees, 5.403. This is also a second reading. Revisions update this policy for best practice related to reasonable suspicion testing. There were no changes requested by the board on the first reading. We recommend approval of the second reading.
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Ms. Newman, is there a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Bell, is there discussion? All in favor? Dr. Snowden?
Thank you. Item 6, policy revision, personnel records, 5.114, second reading. Revision to this policy clarify that disciplinary action is part of the employee's personnel file. There were no changes requested by the board under our first reading. We recommend approval of the second reading.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Ms. Newman, is there a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Bell, is there a discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Thank you, Dr.
Thank you. Item number 7, policy revision, sick leave, 5.302, also a second reading. Revisions to update this policy included provision on verifying absences of 5 days or longer. Additionally, it contains provision regarding suspected misuse. There were no updates requested by the board upon first reading. However, since the June meeting, another TSBA policy recommendation was added. This revision with Public Chapter 1022 is intended to shift flexibility from sick leave to personal leave category. Employees will now earn 8 sick days a year for 10-month contracts, 9 sick days a year for 11-month contracts, and 10 sick days a year for 12-month contracts. Additionally, employees will now earn 4 days of personal leave per year instead of 2, which will be reflected in policy 5.303, which will be next on the agenda as a first reading. We recommend that you consider adopting the incorporated changes as well into the second reading.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Ms. Bell, is there a second? Mr. Townsell, is there a discussion?
I did just clarify, just so you all know with Dr. Snowden, since this is different than what we did before, this is how how we've always practiced. It's just now in policy. Is that what you?
And this
It's
is
not a change of number of days. It's just a change of how you can use days, which we were already doing.
Yeah, we were, the board a few years ago started allowing 2 flex days. We didn't call them personal days, even though that's what it was. It was you're flexing one of your days. So in actuality, it doesn't really change anything other than now it's in policy and the state has said we're going to give 8 days and then now we're going to give 4 personal days instead of 10 and 2 is
Right.
8 and 4. But the effect is the same as what
Correct.
we've operated
What
with
we've
the
done.
last few years.
Okay.
Thanks, sir. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Thank you.
Thank you. Item 8, policy revision, personal and professional leave, 5.303. This is a first reading. Following revision to sick leave policy 5.302, Public Chapter 1022 is intended to shift flexibility from sick leave to the personal and professional leave category. And I already told you about the number of days. So just a repeat of the before, we recommend adopting this policy on first reading and waiving the second reading.
Okay. Is there a motion to adopt on first and waive second?
So moved.
Mr. Townsell, is there a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Bell, is there a discussion?
Dr. Snowden,
Yes.
how does our Education Association feel about this information? Have we had a conversation with Ms. Lampley?
No, they usually keep track of legislation and they know that this is not changing really their practice. Instead of having flex days or calling them flex days, they just got 2 additional personal days and 2 less sick days. So in essence, you're getting the same number of days for leave. They're just stating or saying they're calling them different things. It gives people who might, I'm not saying we would have any employees who might want a personal day, but they call in sick. It helps people that
Mm-hmm.
maybe would do that to have an opportunity to use a personal day instead
Yeah.
of a sick day.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 9, policy revision, school board meetings 1.400. First reading, public chapter 852 creates flexibility for boards during a natural disaster or inclement weather event. It allows board members to join a meeting electronically when less than a quorum is physically present. This exception may be used 3 times per year. We're asking the board to consider adopting on first and waiving second.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion to adopt on first and waive on second?
Motion. So moved.
Mr. Townsend, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Ms. Bell, is there a discussion?
Is this a new policy? Or we've had it before? I guess I didn't see what was.
They've had some opportunities, but this is a new part of that.
Okay.
You could always, board members could use electronic meetings when they were at work or some other, there was one other thing I think, but this gives a little more flexibility.
Okay, I'm fine with that. I just didn't remember it being there before.
I was able to use it when my mom had her knee replacement, and I was able to call in.
Mm-hmm.
And Kevin uses it all the time, so. Thus the policy. Is there we have a motion, have a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Look, Mr. Blair, you can't make him upset because we only got 4. We need every vote.
Thank you.
Take it easy
That'd
on
be
Mr.
nice.
Townsend now.
I regress.
Item number, there's so many. I'm trying to get
10. Item 10.
Yeah, 1403. Number 10, policy revision agendas 1.403. Also a first reading. Agendas for regular board meetings must now be provided to the public at least 48 hours in advance. TSBA has received questions about whether these may be draft agendas, for example, whether changes can still made at board meetings. Their interpretation is that minor changes can be made at board meetings prior to the adoption of the agenda as long as board policy is followed. We also are requesting that the board adopt on first and waive second reading for 1.403.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion to adopt on first and waive on second?
Motion.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Ms. Newman, is there a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Bell, is there a discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Thank you, sir.
Item number 11, policy revision, fiscal management goals 2.100, first reading. Recent guidance from the Comptroller's Office recommends that boards require annual internal control reviews. TSBA has included this update in their June policy recommendation. I am just recommending adopting of the first reading and I'm not asking you to waive second reading, primarily because I would like the board to have some opportunity to think about how you want to address this policy as well as the next policy 2.200 when it comes to how we possibly provide public opportunities for input on the budget. Now, we did place something on the second page, the top, for policy 2.200, but we could also add something to 2.100. At this point, basically how we provide voice from the public is through our public input at our board meetings, and then our board work session, budget work sessions are open to the public as well. But if you've got ideas that you want to change something and add some procedure or some meeting or hearing, I just didn't want to try to rush these 2 policies through on waiving second reading if you had some thoughts about that. So that's my rationale for only recommend adoption of first reading on number 11, and then we'll get to number 12 in a minute.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Mr. Townsend, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Ms. Newman, is there discussion?
I guess I have a question after that explanation because we have fiscal management goals in our original policy. So this is just adding having a internal review, which
Yeah.
would mean not just staff, public review. Is
No,
that how you're interpreting, or it
I'm
could be
not.
any type of internal review?
I think just internal with ourselves.
Okay,
I don't
not
see
public.
right.
Okay.
All right. Motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Not all in favor? Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 12, policy revision annual operation or operating budget 2.200, first reading. The new guidance from the Comptroller's Office also recommends that board include a provision on the fund balance and encourages boards to select this amount in consultation with their local funding body, which we don't have. Additionally, new state laws require districts to annually provide a certified copy of the budget signed by both the director and the funding body to the commissioner, and planning and budgetary reports to the Office of Research and Accountability and the Office of the Comptroller of the Treasury. TSBA has provided an update to their model policy specifically for special districts, which is incorporated into the revisions that are presented. Again, we're asking for the board to pass or approve first reading. Excuse me.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve on first reading.
Ms. Bell, is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Townsell, is there a discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Thank you. Item 13, policy revision, family life education, 4.213, first reading. A recent change to state law updates the terminology for child trafficking instruction and requires that it be included as a component of health education. It also requires each district to develop a plan to implement this instruction by August 1st, 2026. We are working on that. We're looking and developing resources for that. We will have that completed by August 1st. We're asking to adopt on first and waive second reading for this policy.
Thank you, sir. A motion to adopt on first and waive second.
So moved.
Mr. Townsell, is there a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Bell, is there discussion?
I guess my question is, I didn't get a chance to read through all of this one. Is that going to be a parental approved session? That sounds like a very intense topic. Like, will parents have to give approval for their child to attend that, or it's just going to be part of the family life education?
Dr. Decker,
Obviously age appropriate, I know, but
I don't think there's flexibility there, but I don't recall. Do you recall?
I think there might be a parent opt out on this one. I would have to double check to be
Okay.
sure.
I just wondered.
In some cases, they do allow some flexibility for parents to opt out. I think they will on the gun safety thing. They did pass. We'll have some flexibility next year, but this year parents could not opt out of the gun safety presentation or video that we use.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Thank you. Item 14, policy revision, interscholastic athletics, 4.301, first reading. Students attending small private schools will now be permitted to participate in interscholastic athletics in accordance with TSSAA or TMSAA guidelines. If a school is a member with these organizations, private school students zoned for the particular school shall be able to participate in interscholastic athletics to the same extent as other students, but only in athletic programs that are not offered by the private school. If a school is not a member with these organizations, private school students zoned for particular schools shall be able to participate in interscholastic athletics to the same extent as other students. TSBA has added a provision to their model policy on this aspect, which is incorporated into the revisions that we presented. Also, for your information, both Poplar Grove Middle and Freedom Middle are members of the TMSAA. We're asking the board to adopt on first and waive second.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion to adopt on first and waive second?
So moved.
Mr. Townsell, is there a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Bell, is there discussion?
Sorry, I have a lot of questions.
You do.
So if the school is not a member of TSSAA, but they have a football team, and that child doesn't want to play on that football team, they can come to our school and play on the football team. Is that how this is worded? If the school's not a member of those organizations.
I think it's more if we're a member of those organizations than the private. Sometimes the private schools have their own association.
Right.
So if they have less than 200 students and they don't have a football team,
Then their students can come join. Okay, that's
if
what it's looking.
if
That's
they're
what
zoned
it's doing.
if they're zoned for us,
If the student is zoned. For
if the
us.
student is zoned
Okay,
for us.
I got you. That was just confusing to me.
It
Thank you.
is confusing.
A little
And what do you
confusing.
hear about the what is the Dr. Farmer help me? Is it transfer rule? They got a new.
Oh gosh.
You get a one time transfer rule that's going to be
Oh
a real
Lord.
a lot of fun.
It's a portal. It's the middle school portal. Is that what it is? The transfer portal.
Maybe some NIL. No, I'm kidding.
In all seriousness, I do appreciate the fact that that we. I mean, I think we've always been kind to homeschool and to private school. I think I'm disappointed that our legislators would see the need for something like this. Um, However, I wanted to just again make mention that they don't have to. One thing that I saw clearly in here is we're not forcing them to have to. They're just trying out. They're not.
Right.
Right.
You don't have to. They don't have to make the team.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
because even our own students don't always make the team.
Right. Right. And I appreciate that being very clear in this language.
And it does have limits. The school has to have less than 200 or less students in middle school or high school. Yeah. Are we waiving this
Yes.
second reading? Because school's about to start. Yeah.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Not all in favor? Thank you.
Thank you. Item 15, grading system policy revision 4.600. This is also a first reading. Public Chapter 901 clarifies that the high school grading system will apply to coursework completed by students in middle school. TSBA has added clarifying information for our updates. Please also note that Public Chapter 901 also includes a requirement that will go into effect for the 27-28 school year. Beginning in that school year, districts are required to automatically enroll students who achieve a performance level exceeds expectations on the math portion of the 7th grade TCAP exam in Algebra 1 instead of an 8th grade math course unless a parent guardian opts them out. We also are asking the board to adopt on first and waive second.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion to adopt on first and waive on second?
Motion to adopt on first and waive second.
Spell, is there a second? Mr. Townsell, is there a discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Thank you. Item 16, policy revision, promotion and retention 4.603. First reading, TSBA has updated their model policy to include another pathway for students to be promoted to 4th grade. This is based on Public Chapter 1030 that permits this promotion if the student was administered a state mandated assessment in 3rd grade and demonstrated proficiency in ELA based on scoring in the 50th percentile on the most recently administered universal reading screener. This language has been incorporated into the policy for your consideration. We're asking the board to consider adopting on first, waiving second.
Sir, is there a motion to adopt on first and waive on second?
I'll make that motion.
Ms. Newman, is there a second? Mr. Townsell, is there a discussion?
This is another avenue for our 3rd graders, correct? Are we
Yeah.
happy with this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Any additional opportunity for students not to have to be retained, even though we didn't have any, right? So,
We didn't.
but in case this is
It's
another
another
option.
avenue.
Yeah,
Okay.
another
that's
avenue.
great.
Just for clarification, this is the 4th year in a row, correct? This has been that we've
Yeah.
not had any.
I'm pretty sure it's.
It has already been in place.
No, I'm talking about we've not had any retainees.
We have never.
And
Yeah,
this is
we've never
4
had it.
years that we've had this
Is
policy.
it 4? I think it
Similar
is
one.
4.
I believe so.
So,
All right, Thank you. Motion and a second. Is there further discussion? All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you. Item 17, policy revision, application employment, 5.106. First reading, state law now requires all school districts to use the E-Verify program to ensure that an employee is eligible to work in the U.S. Previously, this was an optional program. We have been using that system, the E-Verify program. We're asking the board to adopt on first and waive second.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion to adopt on first and waive on second? Mr. Townsend, is there a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Newman, is there a discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Thank you.
Thank you. Item 18, policy revision, compensation guides and contracts. First reading, last year a state law allowed boards to determine whether to compensate a teacher's estate or designated beneficiary for unused leave time. This year that option has been expanded to cover all staff. If our board would like to offer this benefit, TSBA recommends adding a provision to our policy. Now, the only reason I'm not asking you to adopt on first and waive second is I wanted you to know, and if you wanted to think about it, then that's fine. There is an option, and some school districts are placing a limit on the number of days that they will cover in an estate. In other words, for example, 50, put a limit of 50. However, we're not making that recommendation, and here's why. For the most part, if someone passes away while they're working, they've earned the leave and so from a personal standpoint, I don't understand why their beneficiary wouldn't receive all of the benefits from what that employee earned. And I don't know, maybe twice in 25 years has that happened. One was a teacher at FIS, and one I believe was a paraprofessional. But we can just pass it on first, and then we can add a clause that says we'll put a cap on the number of days of leave that the board or the district will pay for. So I'll just leave it at that, and we can have some discussion after a motion.
Thanks, sir. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, and I'm going to say as is.
Okay.
So that we.
Well, if you're going to do that, may I ask to adopt on first and waive
Yes,
second?
I would love to.
Thank you.
Motion to adopt on first and waive second reading, please.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Ms. Newman, is there a discussion?
Did we already add that provision to this policy? This is the one I didn't get a chance to look at because it wasn't.
No, we didn't. We had a little bit of discussion among staff about putting a clause in there that limited the number of days of leave that the beneficiary would receive.
Oh, I'm not asking that. It just said if our board would like to offer this
Oh,
benefit,
that is
we
in
have to
I'm
add
sorry.
it. That's in there.
I misunderstood.
Right. These are benefits that a teacher or anybody on staff would
Any employee.
receive when they retire or.
No, not when they retire.
I mean, in general, if someone has.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm saying it is their benefit no matter what. So
exactly.
this is discussing if something should happen to them and they are deceased, then their estate would still get all of these benefits.
And in many cases, it's logical to assume that if somebody gets sick and they're sick for a long time from whatever health issue and they pass away, they probably utilize most of their leave anyway. So these are circumstances that happen, as I said earlier, not very often. If it's some tragedy or a person has a heart attack or in a car accident, they've earned that leave. So, and thank you for agreeing to that. I just think that's the right thing to do.
I guess I assumed that was always in place. That's not always been in place even with us?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
And I think this is where I have to say I'm making my vote based solely on what's best for the school system, not for any personal interest I have.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Not. All in favor? Thank you, sir.
We waived second, didn't we? On that
Yeah,
one?
we waived
Yeah.
Yeah. Item 19, policy revision, separation practices for tenured teachers, 5.200. First reading, previously a teacher who resigned and breached their contract mid-year could have their license suspended by the state board if the local board submitted a complaint. Public Chapter 898 removes the option for boards to file these types of complaints. Based on this option is being removed from both policy 5.200 and 5.201. We're asking the board to adopt on first and waive second.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion to adopt on first and waive on second? Mr. Townsell, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Ms. Bell, is there a discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Thank you.
Thank you. Item 20 is the same for non-tenured, the same as the previous policy. We're asking the board to adopt on first and waive second.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion to adopt on first and waive on second?
So moved.
Mr. Townsell, second.
I'll second.
Ms. Newman, discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Thank you. Item 21, policy revision, staff rights and responsibilities, also first reading. Update to the teacher code of conduct requires teachers to refrain from any sexually related behaviors with students, including students who have graduated or withdrawn in the immediately preceding 12 months. TSB has updated their model policy to highlight that requirement, which has been incorporated in this revision. We recommend adopting on first and waiving second.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion to adopt on first and waive on second?
Motion to adopt on first and waive on second.
Ms. Bell, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Ms. Newman, is there a discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Thank you. Item 22, policy revision, attendance. First reading, public chapter 844 requires districts to determine whether a mid-year transfer student was previously enrolled in a public school in the same school year and request the student's attendance records. The receiving districts must then include the unexcused absences from the previous school district in the student's current total to implement the appropriate truancy intervention tier if applicable. We ask the board to adopt on first and waive second.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion to adopt on first and waive on second?
I'll make that motion.
Ms. Newman, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Ms. Bell, is there a discussion?
Is that something we've done before, or would this be new to us? Would we count the missed days at another school when a student came here, or this is a new
I don't
new
think,
attendance
you know,
thing
we
for
get their
us?
records, but I don't know if we've been counting that toward truancy. I'm going to ask Selby.
Yes, sir. So typically, what has been happening when the truancy law was put into place, sometimes when the family became involved in the truancy process, in order to evade going to truancy court and them having a petition filed, they would move to another district, another area of the state, and then our district, if they moved to us, for example, we would start completely over. So this way, if we request the attendance records, which to Dr. Snowden's point, on their cumulative file, it does have what their attendance is. Sometimes it's hard to pick out exactly what the unexcused days are. So for example, if somebody came to us and they had 8 unexcused absences already from Murray County, for example, we would go ahead and start implementing the tier 2 truancy process here at the 8. Right. Okay. And so no, we've not done that before. They've been able to start over. And we do have a meeting with juvenile court in the next 2 or 3 weeks to kind of review this new law and make sure everybody understands what our processes are and all of that. So this will be a little bit more closely watching the district, the kids that come to us from other districts, to see where their unexcused days are. And you feel this is a good thing? Yes. Okay.
And additionally, what we're seeing, I don't think a lot. I mean, Carol could probably tell me the exact numbers, but we do know that some families, once they're approaching that where they're going to have to go to court for truancy for their student, they'll just say they're going to homeschool them to keep from going to court. And that's not really, in my opinion, helping the student. It's keeping the parents from having to go to court. But there's nothing, we talk to legislators about that, but I don't know what they can do to, I mean, if a person wants to withdraw, go to homeschool, we don't have a choice there. So they're getting around the truancy, uh, but this will stop at least one aspect of that. We hope.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you. Speaking of homeschools, Homeschool 6.202, first reading. Previously, state law required certain actions if a homeschool student fell below grade level. Public Chapter 912 has removed this portion of the statute. Additionally, this new law changes the types of tests that may be administered to homeschool students and permits the parents to select a standardized test. We ask the board to adopt on first and waive second.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion to adopt on first and waive on second?
So moved.
Mr. Townsell, is there a second? Ms. Newman, is there a discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Thank you. Item 24, student assignments, policy revision. This is a first reading. State law now requires that principals create a safety plan for a student with an order of protection against another student. TSBA has provided corresponding model policy language that has been incorporated into these revisions. We ask the board to adopt on first and waive second.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion to adopt on first and waive on second?
So moved.
Mr. Townsell, is there a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Newman, is there a discussion?
I just had a question. Is this a like a legal order of protection? Like if they have a restraining order on another student?
Yes.
Okay, so it has to be that
Yeah.
serious for us to have to go. Okay.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you. Item 25 is questioning students and searches. Revision 6.303, first reading. Public Chapter 1040 expands on last year's legislation regarding who may conduct searches of students. The new law adds school employees who have completed the required orientation and training to the list of individuals who may conduct searches authorized by the principal. We ask the board to adopt on first and waive second for this revision as well.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion to adopt on first and waive on second?
Motion to adopt on first and waive on second.
Ms. Bell, is there a second? Mr. Townsell, is there a discussion? All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you. Item 26, policy revision, interference, disruption of school activities. First reading, TSBA has provided model policy language for revisions on this policy. A recent change to state law requires boards to have a policy on alerting parents when a classroom evacuation occurs in response to another student's behavior. We're asking the board to adopt on first and waive second.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion to adopt on first and waive on second? Mr. Townsell, is there a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Bell, is there a discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Thank you. Item 27, admission of suspended or expelled students. First reading, TSBA has provided model language to clarify this policy based on Public Chapter 760, which permits school districts to continue an investigation of a student disciplinary incident even if the student withdraws. Further, it clarifies that the investigation and/or disciplinary consequences may resume if the student re-enrolls from another district. We ask the board to adopt on first and waive second.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion to adopt on first and waive on second?
Motion to adopt on first and waive on second.
Ms. Bell, is there a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Newman, is there a discussion?
I had a question. What would be our outcome if we're investigating a student that withdrawn?
What would be the what?
What would be the course of events we want to see unfold if we're investigating a student that we're not going to go discipline or do anything about if they've withdrawn?
Well,
Would it be more the effect on other students or our building, or I guess I read that. What would be our course of action if these parents withdraw the student, and where we would be required, or we could still investigate if we wanted to?
well, I think based on this, I mean, in my opinion, we should investigate. We had a situation, I'll just give you a quick example. We had a student that was trying to enroll that had a Title IX investigation in the previous school, and the school district stopped the investigation when the child withdrew. And to me, if you're in violation of the law, then the investigation should not stop just because that child leaves the school district. The school district, if they had left, we would not be able to provide punishment. But at the same time, the consequence should follow that student wherever they tried to enroll next. The what?
Is that what you're assuming with this policy, that the consequences can follow?
Yes, the consequences should follow the student.
Motion and a second. Further discussion? If not, all in favor? Thank you.
Item 28, Emergency Allergy Response Plan. First reading, Public Chapter 947, update state law to clarify that epinephrine may be purchased in a variety of forms, not solely as an auto injector. We ask the board to adopt on first and waive second.
There a motion to adopt on first and waive on second?
So moved.
Ms. Newman, is there a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Bell, is there a discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Thank you. Item 29, students from military families, 6.506, first reading. Public Chapter 834 updates requirements for school districts regarding students from military families. Previously, state law allowed boards to choose how much time these students had to provide documentation of relocation to the district. Per this recent change, students must now provide this information within 1 calendar year of the date of enrollment. The new law further clarifies that districts must take appropriate steps to assist any of these students with IEPs, 504 plans, or individualized family service plan. We recommend that the board adopt on first and waive second.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion to adopt on first and waive on second?
So moved.
Mr. Townsell, is there a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Bell, is there a discussion?
This is rare for us, is this?
This is what now?
This is rare for us.
Yeah, it is rare.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Thank you. Item 30, new policy, instructional use of digital devices. TSBA has created a new policy in response to a requirement in Public Chapter 808. This new state law requires boards to adopt a policy prioritizing teacher-led instruction and the use of non-electronic instruction materials in grades K through 5. There are several exceptions to the law, including but not limited to assessments, remediation, students with IEPs, 504 plans, and virtual schools. We ask the board to adopt on first and waive second.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion to adopt on first and waive on second?
Motion to adopt on first and waive on second.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Townsell, is there a discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Thank you, sir. Director of Schools report.
Thank you, and thank you for your indulgence with a lot of policies, and thank you for making sure that you were familiar with those and could ask questions and receive clarification in order for us to adopt most of these, on first and waive seconds, as we said, since school's about to start, and they're law, so we have to follow them anyway. So thank you for that. Director of Schools report, summer program, Young Scholars Institute. I'd like to thank Dr. Carlton for organizing the camp and the directors of the camp, Crystal Lepping, Holly Osteen, and Travis King, and all our YSI teachers and staff for a huge successful institute. Story Bus Mobile Library. Through the rest of the month, the bus will be at Kroger, 9 to 12 at the following locations, excluding when we were closed the 4th of July week. Mondays at Independence Square, Tuesdays at Columbia Avenue location, Thursdays at the Murfreesboro Road location. We hope you had a chance to visit. I fortunately got by there last Thursday at the one on Murfreesboro Road, and I bet you there, I didn't count, but there had to be at least 12 to 15 students and a couple of parents on the bus. I said, so you're not grocery shopping, you're just with your, oh, I'm visiting with, this was our teacher last year, so we're visiting. So it's a very successful program. I said, I told the mom, I said, I'll be glad to report to the board so they know that this program is well worth the money.
Man.
Summer Meals Program, FCS served YSI, Learning Academy, WEMAC, and Franklin Housing, serving a total of 3,779 breakfasts, 7,658 lunches. Our open site at Papa Grove served 35 breakfast meals and 59 lunch meals for children walking in during the 14 days we were open. This is an average of 2.5 daily breakfasts and 4 lunches this June. The INSPRA annual conference in the coming week, Ms. Patton, Dr. Erickson, Ms. Gentry, and I will be presenting a session at this conference titled Leading Together, Practical Way Communicators Can Help Principals Build Trust and Drive Vision. The Law Institute is coming up at the end of this week. I think Mr. Townsend will be attending that, representing the board. And then there's some other notes that you can see in that executive summary. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Any updates?
Nothing additional, thanks, sir.
Dr. Esslinger?
Yes, sir. We're starting the new fiscal year off with a bang. We're 5.8% above last July's collections, bringing us up 4% year to year.
Thank you, sir. Pass that on to Mr. Stillings. All right. Any announcements from the board?
I just wanted to say we went to the State of the County address, Robert, Kevin, and I, and Dr. Snowden, and it was 700 people that were there. The largest attended State of the County address, and this was Roger's last. As you know, he has been our county mayor for 24 years, and just received a lot of positive comments to us, and people just very appreciative of things that we've done as far as areas of governance.